Sharp Game here, back with another video. Coming at you from chooseyourrelationships.com, which can be found on amazon.com. And on japantoday.com, somebody sent me an article talking about foreigners in Japan being mistreated. And if you've been following me for a while, I talk about this. And there's a lot of things that are being covered up in Japan, things that you never hear about and you probably won't ever hear about. But being that the Olympics is coming to Japan in 2020, the Justice Ministry is trying to clean up a lot of stuff. And they probably, more than likely, they want to pass some public policy in the city of Tokyo only because it's good business. It's good for business. So I'm going to get into this. Almost 40% of foreign residents who sought housing in Japan had applications turned down, and almost a quarter were denied jobs in the past 5 years, as survey showed on Friday, highlighting discrimination in a male-dominated society. The findings from the Justice Ministry survey come as the number of foreign workers and residents in Japan hit record highs as the country prepares to host the 2020 Tokyo Olympics. However, immigration remains a touchy subject in a land where conservatives prize cultural homogeneity and foreigners make up less than 2% of the population. Only 2%, that's true. Language skills weren't the problem, the survey suggested, with almost 95% of those who were denied jobs and more than 90% of those who were denied housing saying they spoke Japanese professionally and fluently. Now, I always say that there's a lot of discrimination when it comes to trying to rent apartments and rent out homes in Japan. And that's something that you never hear anybody talk about. And the Korean woman goes on to say, the landlord said, I couldn't live in the flat because of my nationality, said a Korean respondent in her 50s, quoted in the report. I was born and raised in Japan, and Japanese is the only language I know. There is still so much bias and discrimination in Japan, she said. Now, she's a Korean woman now, born and raised in Japan. She only speaks Japanese, and they giving her a hard time. Think about what it would be like if you were to go over to Japan as a non-white person. The survey was conducted so that the Justice Ministry could better understand the discrimination and human rights issues foreigners in Japan face and to find ways to protect their rights. They been knew about the discrimination in Japan. They just want to pass some type of public policy because the Olympics is coming over there and it's good for business. That's all it is. Because Japan is a very, they follow the status quo to the fullest in Japan. It's all about the image. That's all they care about. So it goes on to say, the first government survey of its kind, it was conducted by the Center for Human Rights Education and Training in November and December last year. Of the 18,000 foreign residents contacted, 4,000 responded. More than half of them were Chinese and Korean, and more than 40% had lived in Japan for more than a decade. Nearly 20% of 2,788 respondents who had looked for work in the past 5 years said they received lower pay than Japanese people for the same job, and more than 17% said they couldn't get promoted because they were foreign. Of course. Now here's the deal. Now all of these people are non-white people, right? Now I've never heard of any white folks not being able to get promoted and make as much money as they wanted to. Now, I've never seen or heard any white guys with stories like this. They always seem to put non-white people on blast in Japan, but they never do that with white guys mainly. I wonder why is that? That's something to think about. That's my question to you. Why is that? It goes on to say about 13% said their working conditions were worse than those for Japanese co-workers with longer hours and fewer days off. Separate Justice Ministry data this month showed that violations, including unpaid wages, among groups accepting foreign trainees in Japan had risen last year. Around 30% of respondents said they were insulted and discriminated against occasionally or frequently. One time, when I tried to enter a small shop in Harajuku, the staff told me it's for Japanese only, said a Brazilian woman in her 20s. A Korean woman in her 60s said, Japan is my home and I love Japan, but discrimination against foreigners is deeply rooted. I wish for a society that recognizes diversity. Yeah, this shit is nothing new. They've been discriminating against foreigners. But they don't discriminate a lot against white males. That's the deal. That's reality. White guys I know that live in Japan, that used to live in Japan, or do business in Japan, have a very different experience than non-white people. Even white women have a different experience than non-white women. So my question to you is, why do you think that is? Things that make you go, Like I said, Japan is a very difficult place to live for a lot of people. You have to be a very disciplined person. There's a lot of bullshit that happens over there. And a lot of it don't have anything to do with culture. See, the excuse that a lot of people use is, that's my culture. It's always been that way. That's my culture. But that's bullshit. So if you don't remember anything I say today in this video, remember this. When it comes to the common man and the common woman, all behavior is controlled by consequences. All behavior is controlled by consequences. And hate, discrimination supersedes culture. So remember that when you're traveling out and about through the United States, North America, South America, Japan, worldwide. All behavior is controlled by consequences. And hate and discrimination supersedes culture. So if you like what you heard, subscribe to my channel, check out my blog, chooseyourrelationships.com. Until next time, I'm out.